Hi everyone, welcome back to today's morning report. Chart appraisals on Wednesday, the 28th of October, with me, Richard Pro, market analyst at Handset Markets. Let's look at cable now. Sterling has sort of reversed again yesterday. It sort of tried to find a bit of support, but then reversed intraday, closed back below the low. So you're still on this bearish bias. You're still sort of selling into these little mini rallies. I'm not necessarily getting too bearish or negative yet on cable because you're still sort of trading above this 52 figure key support of that reaction low from October. And whilst you're doing that, I think it's sort of rather a benign slide in cable rather than a precipitous sell-off that you can sometimes get with these things. But I mean, if you look at the momentum indicators, for example, sort of drifting lower on the RSI, drifting on the MACD lines. Stochastics are the main sort of bearish point I think I'd point out, but still I think generally speaking there's a slight bearish bias, but nothing too significant on cable. So with that in mind, you'd sort of be looking out for these rallies that you've had in the last few days. Obviously series of lower highs. 54.15 was that big breakdown level that became the resistance. 53.80 was the reaction high that we got from a couple of days ago, and generally speaking, I mean, it's pretty much flat today, but you look at these momentum indicators, the hourly RSI, just a slight bearish bias, sort of going back towards 30, failing at 60 on the RSI. Again, MACD lines turning more sort of corrective rather than being outright seriously bearish. I think it's sort of more of a gentle sort of drift lower that we're getting on cable, as I said, sort of across these lower highs. So you'd be using any sort of technical rebound on an intraday basis to sell that. I mean, you could argue, I mean, as I said in the more report, you're sort of looking out for sort of 53.50 towards the 53.30 towards 53.50 seems to be sort of a bit of an overhead supply area. So maybe that's an area that you could look out for. But obviously we've got this FOMC meeting today. That's going to be a big aspect on this chart potentially. But as I said, I think we're just sort of bordering. I mean, you're going to get some volatility in this chart, but unless we sort of see a close below 52 figure, I'm not going to be turning too uber bearish yet on cable, because I think it's just drifting back towards a bit of support. So I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.